Good morning, my awesome Darren Daily community. So it's not quite time to get started on our second Thanksgiving Day Jam-Boree just yet, but I wanted to join you a little bit early to make sure that everybody had a chance to get logged on this morning and ready to go since we changed the time on you. And I have a special guest, A-Team member Allie is joining me. So let me bring her on. Hi, Allie.
Oh, hi.
Welcome. I'm so excited to have you with me here this morning. We are going to just do some prep talk with our awesome community, but why don't you get started by introducing yourself to everybody?
I am happy to. Well, good morning, Darren Daily community. As Mariana said, my name is Allie, and I am the Community Success Director here on the A-Team. So you can find me primarily across all of our social platforms, and particularly you can find me inside our Be the Exception Facebook group. If you haven't joined that yet, I totally recommend that you join us there. So we have a big old party in there, and we talk all things growth and leadership and all of our takeaways and things that we learned from Darren Hardy. So definitely join us there. A little bit about me. I am a small town girl. So I was born and raised in a tiny little town of about 5,000 people. And I currently live in a town of about 3,000 people. So I'm not sure how that happened where we just kind of keep downgrading in size, but it happened. And let's see, I've got a cornfield on one side of me and I've got a bean field on the other side of me. So I am a Midwest girl through and through, representing the Midwest here in Central Illinois. So if I have any other Midwest peeps out there, just represent with me because we've got to here. We have a lot of big city people here on the A-Team as well. And I'm also a mom. So my husband and I have 3 daughters together, and today is actually a very special day. Our youngest daughter is 1 year old today. So parents, I know that you can relate that today's a special day for many reasons, but in particular, this one has my heart for sure.
And our community has seen the lovely little Gia in various posts. We call her our intern. She's our intern.
We're lucky that she's still sleeping right now. So when she grows up, I'm going to tell her that this was like a virtual birthday party for her. I'm going to tell her how many thousands of people have joined. We have Darren Hardy as our guest speaker, and that is going to secure me points as the cool mom for life. So I think you just heard me too. So you might hear her.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So this is week 2, but we had some awesome feedback from all of you last week. You guys shared some great comments, and it seems like everybody really enjoyed the live session. I know we have some variations across the world where everybody's seeing it at different times, but you shared some great takeaways for those of you that watched it live and those of you who caught it afterwards. And Allie and I just wanted to share a few comments from some of our members. Allie, why don't you go first?
I will. I'm muting myself in between just in case. So this is real live working mom life right here. So I know a lot of you work from home parents can relate as well. But I'm going to share this great comment from last week from Marbecca Malik. I'm so sorry if I didn't get that right, but I tried really hard. She says, great questions today. And that's a theme that we heard last week. Those questions were amazing. She said, they are all resounding profoundly. So well done and thank you.
And we have some really good questions this week, too. They're hard-hitting, and they're going to give Darren a run for his money. I'm telling you, you guys don't take it easy on Darren at all when it comes to these questions. But, hey, guess what? His A-Team loves it, and Darren loves it, too, so don't worry. So I have a great comment from Denise Fleming. She said that the Darren Daily Live last week was great and timely information of where we're at in our society, and especially for her on her personal journey and the influence of the bigger picture. And she says, thank you. So thank you, Denise, for joining us. We really, I hope that this week's questions and Darren's responses are just as timely for you. So Allie, you want to share another one?
Yes, I have another great comment. This is from Diana Riley. She says, I love what you are saying. I so needed to hear this today, and I will second that as well. She said, thank you so much. So Diana, thank you for joining us.
And I have one from Flor Mazeda. Flor is she is out there rocking it. She was part of our Jumpstart program, and she is out there making big changes in her life, and we absolutely love seeing that. So we had to share a comment from our lovely Floor. She said, "Thank you. This is such a valuable time, not a 5-minute normal session. Mad respect for your answers, Darren." So thank you, Floor. We love you. We love seeing your progress. So I hope you're out there live joining us today.
I have one more. This one is from Back Joe. He says, great advice and positive vibes. So that's important too. He says, thank you for all of the motivation. Thank you, Back Joe, for joining us. We hope that you're here with us today too.
I hear your interns in the background there joining in just a little bit. Thankfully, mine is at school. So otherwise, you never know what would happen on my end because she loves the camera. I told you guys last week that my daughter she'll negotiate and be in front of anybody, and this would be no exception. So I'm glad that she is at school. So I have one more comment from Lynn Snow. She said the questions were all better than good questions, and I wouldn't have wanted to miss any of them. Thank you, Mariana and Darren. So thank you, Lynn, for stepping up and being with us live. Allie, did you have one more to share?
I do not, but I do have something special to share with you. So last week, you really opened up your heart and shared some fun facts about you. I came prepared with the fun fact about Allie. And I don't know if anybody knows this. I know Darren is never going to let me live this down now, but I actually know how to juggle. And I taught myself to juggle when I was in junior high. And here's why, because I was a loner. I didn't have a lot of friends, so I didn't have a lot to do.
Oh, that's hard to believe.
It's true. It's very true. And so I played basketball, and I wanted to get better at hand-eye coordination and just working on my peripheral vision. So I thought, I'm going to learn to juggle. I actually think I got the idea from a basketball camp. But anyways, I said, I'm going to teach myself to juggle. And here's the thing. Picture this. We're out in my backyard. I'm practicing juggling, and my brother had just gotten a unicycle for his birthday. So I'm working on my juggling skills, and my brother is practicing riding his unicycle. And I tell you what, it's a good thing we didn't run off to the circus, because that's a brother-sister duo. We would have crushed it and stole the show. I may not be here today if we would have run off to the circus, because it would have been great.
Okay, so I have a task for next week then. If you're going to join me beforehand next week, you're totally juggling. Or you have to do it on one of our A-team meetings, because I got to see it to believe it. If we don't see it, it didn't happen. It's like the picture is proof.
The picture is proof. You're right. I might have to practice. Okay. All right.
Well, we're getting really, really close to time, so hopefully everybody is logging on here. But we wanted to just take one more minute and acknowledge that today is Veterans Day. And so it's a special day around the United States. And I want to encourage everybody to go out and hug a veteran. I know I'm going to go and hug my dad, who's a Navy vet. But definitely go out there and show some respect for the people who have given their lives and given their time and commitment to protecting us and our country.
Yes, absolutely. And if you are a veteran in our community, we just want to let you know how grateful we are for you and for your service. And so we are giving you a big virtual hug this morning as well. And we just want to say thank you.
Yeah, well, we got just another minute. You know, I can see some comments coming in from the YouTube version of the live stream. We've got people from seriously all over the world. We got Canada, France. We've got let's see, the UK is showing up. We've got San Diego, of course, where a lot of our team are based out of. So that's pretty awesome. You guys are from all over the place.
Do we have any small town people? Like, I need to know.
How we represent you, and you will always hold a special place as our small town girl.
The
one and only. No, I'm sure there are probably a lot of small town people who are joining us. They're, like I said, they're from all over the world, and they are just, our Darren Daily members show up with full force. There you go. Somebody commented from Ohio. So she says she's from a small town. Alicia says, me. So she's acknowledging and saying, hey, you're not alone, Allie.
Thank you.
All right. Well, it's about that time. So thank you for joining me, Allie. I really appreciate you taking the time this morning. You can go corral your interns there and get them down to work.
That's right. I will. And I'll tell her a big happy birthday from everyone that joined us here. Cool mom points. It's going to be great.
Awesome. Thanks, Allie. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for showing up this morning. It is time to get started with our Darren Daily, and it wouldn't be Darren Daily if I didn't start it with a little bit of this. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome. We heard from a lot of you last week who joined us for the first ever live Darren Daily session. You all missed watching your Darren Daily first thing in the morning. So we listened, and that's the reason behind how early we are doing this second Thanksgiving Day Jam-Boree live session. Now, if you missed last week, let me introduce myself again. My name is Mariana, and I am the show producer of Darren Daily and Darren Daily On Demand. I absolutely love seeing how Darren Daily impacts your lives every single day. You all inspire me. So keep sharing and commenting each day, okay? I look forward to reading them all. And I go through the comments several times a day, and I just love seeing them. So I know a lot of you commented last week how you got a kick out of my random fun facts. I mean, Allie just shared one earlier that she can juggle. That is not my random fun fact, but I thought I'd share one that the A-team doesn't even know about me this week. And that is when I'm not reading and listening to my personal development. I am a die-hard historical fiction junkie, particularly Renaissance England. Not sure if that's more or less geeky than the board game revelation I shared last week, but hey, take it for what it's will. We all have our fun little quirks. So anyways, you didn't show up this morning to hear me talking. You're totally here for mentoring with Darren, right? But just a quick insight on how these special sessions are. And Darren gets several requests a week to be on media and TV and radio shows and podcasts. And we have turned down all of those inquiries except for 2 all year long. So he is focused on what he does here each morning on Darren Daily and the development of his new epic learning adventure, Hero's Journey. But we thought that who better to say yes to for an interview than you guys. So it's true, you, the Darren Daily community, are getting this exclusive right here, right now. You're not going to see Darren jumping in anywhere else and doing this kind of thing. It is special for you guys. So we have some really great questions today from community members, and they're here right now waiting to ask them of Darren. So let's go ahead and get started. Darren, are you ready, my friend? Let me get you up on screen. Good morning.
Ready. Awesome. Good morning, everybody.
All right. What's up, Darren?
I had myself muted. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning. All right. So we are ready to get started with our first person, or our first member. Our first question actually comes from Jessica Brothers. Let me bring Jessica on. Good morning, Jessica.
Good morning. How are we today?
We're doing good. So I'm going to have you tell us where you're joining us from and then ask your question to Darren.
Yeah, so I'm joining from Belchertown, Massachusetts, small town. And so my question for you today, Darren, is what is the most effective way to create and keep a virtual team focused on our vision and mission, create that tight culture, and keep them excited and accountable to their daily tasks?
Okay, Jessica, great question. And before we get started, I just want to wish everybody happy Veterans Day. All of us who enjoy these amazing freedoms that we have owe a great debt of gratitude to those who protect them every single day. So happy Veterans Day to all those who serve. Thank you once again. And good morning, Jessica, everybody else. Yes, since my first business at 18 years old, which is now more than 30 years, I have operated virtual and distributed teams. Even when I had a central office, I still had national or internationally distributed sales teams. And even the major media companies that I built and led with the big production facilities and headquarters, I still traveled into them. I still lived, outside of the headquarters. Even when I published Success Magazine, which was located in Dallas, Texas, I lived in San Diego. The TV network that I built called the Success Channel was also based in Dallas, and I even lived in Dallas at that time, but I still only came in for the filming days. I found that the public office environment is the absolute worst environment for creative productivity. I think of an office kind of like middle school. Like middle school, the only thing kids like and look forward to is recess and lunchtime. And that is true about people in an office as well. They sort of recreate middle school. All they like and look forward to is the recesses, the chit-chatting in the break room and the hallway and at the water cooler and in the parking lot and at lunch. And the same drama happens in the office as happened on the playground in middle school. She said, he said, who's hot, who's not, who's doing what, who's doing who, and the like. I found that virtual teams are far more productive. Meetings start on the nose and they stop on the nose, and you're right back to isolated work. No hallway chit chats, no back channel disinformation campaigns. The most unproductive days on my calendar were always those few days when I had to go into the office. Anyway, to your question, Jessica, and everybody else. Write this framework down. Use a fresh page in your journal or on your notes, and at the top of that page, write the word success. Okay? Then under that, write the word high performance. And then under that, write the word emotional engagement. And then under that, write skill/ability. Okay? And let me explain. Okay, so at the top, you want that thing at the top there, right? You want success. That's the name of the game. You want the results. You want the impact. You want the mission accomplished. Well, to accomplish that success, you need performance, and most preferably high performance. So write this one down in your notes on a separate piece of paper. High performance is only made possible through alignment, and alignment requires clarity. That's clarity of the enterprise's mission, vision, goals, core values, and strategy, but also each person's individual role and their individual mission, their vision, their goals, their core values, and strategy. They need to know how is what they do in their role, how does it directly impact the success of the enterprise? This is their purpose, their reason for being in this organization. And everybody needs that sense of purpose, that sense of mission, that sense of individual value that they matter. Now, how do you create this clarity of alignment? I would refer you to the Insane Productivity and the Ludicrous system, because that's where you will learn the entire components of the Success Vital system, where on one page or one screen or one single dashboard, you could see each person's big three goals. That's their goals for the year, the quarter, and the month. Their vital functions, right? The thing that they are paid to do to make it rain. Their vital priorities, what's important for this week, this quarter, this month. And their vital metrics. How do we know whether they won or lost? What's the scoreboard of victory? And then what are the key initiatives that they're using to drive those metrics? And then each of those individual dashboards are linked directly to the dashboard of the enterprise. So they could see directly from their seat the direct line of sight of the impact they're having on the results, the mission, and achievement of the enterprise. They could see clearly how what they do has impact. And then, as a result of that, right, we figured out that what makes people happy is the visible evidence of progress. So they can see their visible evidence of progress. So they're happy. They're valued, they're productive, they feel worthy, they know that they're doing work that matters because it's visible, it's evident, and it's tangible. Now, under success and performance, we have emotional engagement. And this is the real art of leadership. And this is the hardest part of leadership. And a big part of why I created the Hero's Journey, by the way, to teach this fine skill and art. A 10-year study by the Gallup Group found that the first 25% of an employee's effort is mandatory. They have to do it in order to keep their job. The other 75% is voluntary. And so How do you know whether you get that 75%? What's the determinant factor? It's based on leadership and culture, right? Whether that leader draws out that better capability, that better potential, that better motive, that better drive, that better commitment, that better consistency. And so that data right there is super important. You're going to get about 25% of everybody's capability. The other 75% is up to you, up to the leaders. That means that you're really only getting about 25% of everybody's actual potential. So now you probably ask, all right, well, how do you get that other 75%? Well, that's what I teach you in the hero's journey. I'm not trying to be coy here. I'm just saying it's complicated. I mean, ask Picasso or Michael Jordan or Frank Lloyd Wright to explain how they do their art in a 5-minute Darren Daily here, right? It's why the hero's journey is a year-long development program. You learn how to connect people to their sense of purpose. You learn how to pull different people, pull out of different people of different backgrounds, of different ages, of different gender, culture, together to work in that alignment, how to draw the best out of talented people performing in different roles. So in the office, this is effective. In your peer group, this is effective. With your kiddos at home, this is effective. So let's go to the last piece, okay? So we've got success, we have performance, we have emotional engagement, and under that is skill and ability. And this is learning to recruit the right people to do the right things in the right seat on the bus. And this is one of the most important skills of leadership. Recruiting and maintaining the right top talent and clearing out those who have proven not to be right. And for that, I would refer you to the HPF Business Masterclass. It's also more than I can cover here, but it's really essential stuff. Just understand that getting the right skill and ability is a recruiting factor more than it is anything else. So I hope that helped you. Jessica, I gave you quite a few frameworks to go on there. It starts with clarity of role and alignment of that role to the goals and the mission of the enterprise. Okay, back to you, Mariana.
Awesome. Thanks. That was such a great question, Jessica. Our next question comes from Darren Daily member John Keating. Let me go ahead and bring John on here. Hi, John.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Welcome. If you will please share where you're coming from and your question with Darren.
Sure. Okay. So my name is John Keating. I'm from New York, Long Island, Babylon. And my question to you, Darren, is while working with people with different abilities, how do you know truly what they're capable of and how far to motivate them to change and success?
Yes. Okay. Hi, John. And Babylon. It's one of my one of my favorite books, right? The Richest Man in Babylon. Right, yeah. So let's help you become the next richest man in Babylon. All right. So John, one of my favorite definitions of leadership is the leadership is the ability to get extraordinary achievement from ordinary people. Right? Because we all start out ordinary. And it takes a leader to come along to point out the extraordinary capability that us ordinary people have. And we rise to meet that expectation. So here's how you do it. You give them an extraordinary challenge. Give them something more than they think that they can do. A bigger role, a bigger responsibility, a bigger project to lead, one that might even make them a little bit scared. Lift the bar of expectation and see if they rise to meet it. Many will surprise you, and they will probably surprise themselves mostly. I mean, on our team, I had my team host each session of our Jumpstart program. That was to push them, to raise a bar above what they thought that they could do. I mean, Mariana hosting this Darren Daily, I pushed her to do this. She's a camera shy gal, but as you can see, she's blossomed. I mean, look how fantastic that she's doing to host these Darren Dailies. She went from just project managing Darren Daily to producing it end to end. And then she took Darren Daily on demand on her own shoulders and made that a reality that wouldn't have happened without her. It was the constant sort of raising of the bar of expectation and watching her meet every single one of those. Now she's running our YouTube channel and she oversees all of our production. Maggie, who's been with me for 11 years, she started out as a part-time assistant, some part-time job she was doing while she was pregnant, or, while she had a young daughter at home. And then we went through another child with her together. Today, she's the VP of marketing. She's one of my 2 top leaders running the entire enterprise. Kylie, her co-captain, she started just overseeing social media. Now she's the VP of operations, right? She's running a mega multi-million dollar global enterprise that impacts 1.6 billion people a year, right? It wouldn't have been possible if I didn't continue to give them projects above their head. So you want to keep raising the bar until they don't meet it. Now, I've had many people along the way where I gave them an expectation above their head and they didn't meet the higher expectation. I gave them a responsibility above them and they didn't meet there. And it's okay. Maybe they weren't ready. Maybe not then, right? And some, it's just not a good fit for that particular project, or maybe they're not even a good fit for this organization. So in regards to motivating people to change or to improve, there's only 3 things that you can do, John. And everybody might want to write this down. Number 1, be an example. You want to demonstrate learning. Demonstrate your growth, demonstrate your improvement. Talk about the courses that you're signing up for. Talk about the fact that you're taking the hero's journey with us through 2021, that you showed up live on Darren Daily, and the idea that you got that inspired you, and share what books you're reading and what podcasts you're listening to that are inspiring you to learn and grow. That's number 1. Number 2 is all you can do as a leader is you can hold out your hand. Provide people an opportunity for growth, for change, and for improvement. But they got to reach up and grab it, right? You can't reach down and pick them up and put them on your back and try to climb the mountain of success with people on your back. You'll all fall off the mountainside. And when you reach your hand out, some will reach up and grab it and some won't, right? Just remember, don't pick up and carry them. And then when they don't reach up and grab it, you just have to decide, is that okay? Is that okay based on the role that they're in, that they aren't going to be pursuing growth to that sort of vigor and expectation? And then number 3 is praise the behavior that you want to see more of. Continue to be an encourager. Continue to cast seeds and see what fall on fertile ground. So I hope that gives you something to go on, John. And back to you, Mariana.
All right. Thanks, Darren. Okay, so we have one more question for our session today, and that comes from community member Chuck Morelli. Let me bring Chuck on real quick. Oh, good morning, Chuck.
Morning.
Good morning. So I would love for you to share where you're joining us from and then share your question with Darren.
Good morning from Louisville, Kentucky. Darren, I'm sure you've interviewed many leaders over your time, some good, some bad. My thoughts, I want to ask you a question on servant leadership and how that compares to leaderships of the past. Thank you.
Yeah, so great question, Chuck. I'm glad you brought it up. This is going to kind of send me on a little bit of a rant. The idea of servant leadership, it sounds great in theory. It's a great virtue signal, right? It makes you look good to talk about it. Makes you look good when you write books and blogs about it, and you teach it to wide-eyed, idealistic university students. But in practice, it corrupts. It's just chaos. It's kind of like communism or Marxism, right? Karl Marx can philosophize and make Marxism sound really good on paper, right? It's described as a system that eliminates social classes and in which goods are owned in common and are all available to all as needed. It sounds nice, right? Yeah. For as a noble of an idea as one might think it is consistently led to the very opposite. It's led to totalitarianism, to political repression, to restrictions of human rights, to poor economic performance, and cultural and artistic censorship. The idea of servant leadership is kind of a reaction. I would call it the inevitable pendulum swing of life to the PTSD that we suffered in the 20th century of all the top-down, hierarchical, patriarchal, autocratic, command and control, dictatorial type of leadership. And now you have this idea that managers and leaders should literally serve or be a servant to their subordinates. Incidentally, just on the pendulum swing side of things, we see this play out in politics, right? Just so that everybody can kind of get some context of even what we're seeing right now. We went from Dwight D. Eisenhower, right? The military industrial complex guy, to John F. Kennedy on one side, the other side of the aisle. And we went from JFK to Richard Nixon. And we went from Richard Nixon to Jimmy Carter. Extremes on either side, right? And then we went from Carter to Ronald Reagan. And then, we got an extra spin of George H.W. Bush, but only one of those. And then we got Bill Clinton on the other side. And then we got George W. Bush on the other side. And then we got Barack Obama on the other side. And then we got Donald J. Trump on the other side. And now we got Biden. Do you see how these pendulum swings are just radical moves from one side to the other? They're all reactions to each other. And I think this whole leadership, this servant leadership thing, is a reaction to the horrible leadership style that we saw through the 20th century. So, like all things in life, where you want to land is somewhere in the middle, right? Here's why one side of servant leadership is not good. A, it diminishes leadership. Just when we need to empower our frontline team members to think for themselves, to take more ownership, and to lead themselves with self-responsibility, the last thing they need is to see their managers to be their indentured servants. I think John F. Kennedy got the direction of service correct when he said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." You see, when team members see their managers and leaders catering to their every need, their every whim, their every whine, their every concern, or every distraction in an extreme manner, it creates dependency. You see this in parenting. The helicopter and the snowplow parents, those that step in to help, to assist, and to ease the burden of their kids at every turn. I mean, look, it's all with a loving and servant heart. But it stunts the growth of their children. They unknowingly and unexpectedly handicap their children, stifle their progress and potential. If you give a child or an employee a crutch, they will learn to limp, and they will never be able to run, and they will always need you to prop them up. So as the JFK quote suggests, team members should be thinking of themselves as a self-employed supplier of services, doing what they can to serve the needs and interests of their leader, of their organization, and of the mission of the enterprise. And this is a key point, the leaders should be doing the same, seeing their team members as their most vital VIP clients. If they take proper care of them, then they will take care of the clients, of the business, and of the mission. As the winningest coach in college football, John Wooden, said, "I remain convinced that compassion, sincerely caring for your players, and maintaining an active interest in their lives, concerns, and motivations is one of the most important qualities a coach or leader can have. But also, make not this mistake. John Wooden was your leader, not your servant. And he was going to push you. And he was going to push you hard. And he would discipline you if necessary, if you didn't do your job and you didn't bring your absolute best to every practice and to every game." So that's A. B, it actually diminishes motivation. Servant leaders are naturally inclined to step in and fix problems when they occur, and this may include finishing a task that an employee or team member failed to complete. But the more times a servant leader comes to the rescue, the less motivation this gives employees to work hard. When employees believe that their manager will step in to take care of any needs they have or resolve issues that arise, they are more tempted to sit back and exert less effort in their daily tasks. A loss of motivation and productivity is one of the major limitations of servant leadership. In talking with the founder and CEO and chairman of Panera Bread, Ron Ciach, I always get that wrong. Shiach, I think is how you say it. I asked him, I said, what regrets or hard lessons did he learn about leadership during his tenure? And here's what he replied. He said, I was too obsessed with being a servant leader. Instead, I should have been a good leader. Instead of confronting people, I'd find ways to cover for them. I was willing to do their work. That hurt the organization, he said. So yes, a leader needs to address and serve the human needs of their team, but not at the sacrifice of the mission, not at the sacrifice of high performance, and not at the sacrifice of winning. What is needed now is what is called human-centered leadership, where both the leader or manager and the team member are serving each other so that they can serve the objectives of the business, of the mission, of the cause, which usually means serving the client. I like the way Howard Schultz, the builder and former CEO and chairman of Starbucks, put it. He said, here's what we are. We are a performance-driven team through the lens of humanity. So yes, you are on this team to perform a result. And I, as your leader, I will do all I can to support you in that high performance so that together we win. We accomplish the mission. We deliver for the client. We make a positive impact. Now, where do you learn this complicated, human-centered leadership? How do you develop a collaborative, supportive, empathetic, engaging, empowering, and developmental relationship with team members without taking on this extreme servant leadership expectation, without losing authority, leadership, and respect, and without undermining their autonomy and their personal locus of control, and instead grow and empower their creativity, their innovation, and their personal initiative? Where do you learn that fine art, particularly in these very diverse, dynamically progressing, and ever-changing times? Well, if you haven't heard already, it is called Hero's Journey, a growth adventure to become a modern leader. That is where. I know how hard it is to learn these unique skills. That is why I designed and developed this program. I've said enough about it already. You can just go to heroesjourney.com to learn all you like. And like my dad used to say, you pay for the best and you only cry once. If you enroll, we both celebrate. Here's why. I get to help you. And you get a better future. So, if you haven't already, just get on board. And I'll take care of the ride. That's all I can say. Okay, so hopefully today you got some good ideas, you got some good lessons. Be sure you take out your Darren Daily Journal, capture them while they're fresh in your brain. And I would love to also read your comments on the page, whether you're watching this with us live right now or whether you're watching this in recording, to hear what stood out to you, the epiphanies, the wows, the great ahas that you got from today's Darren Daily session. So back to you, Mariana.
Thanks, Darren. So everyone, okay, that wraps up week number 2 of our Thanksgiving Jam-Boree. You guys have submitted some great, amazing questions for Darren. You heard 3 of them today. We have 3 more next week and then 1 more after that. Remember that each Darren Daily expires in 72 hours. So a recording of today's session will be live immediately and then it'll expire in 72 hours. So if you want to share this with any of your friends or family or especially your teams, then do it now. Tomorrow we'll be back. Darren, not me, Darren will be back on set as usual. And then next week, on next Wednesday, we'll celebrate week 3 of the Thanksgiving Jam-Boree. Don't worry, we'll tell you if the time changes, but it seems like everybody was enjoying the earlier time this morning. So I hope that everyone goes out and has an awesome day, and we'll see you next time.